Okay, good morning, Insane Rhetoric listeners. Y'all see us live and in action.
Good
We
morning, Insane Rhetoric listeners. How are y'all doing today? What's good? Good morning. Good morning. It's Saturday everywhere except the international date line. What's happening?
it's good in the neighborhood over here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool over here, man. It's pretty cool. I ain't got no complaints about what's going on. So, what's going on in the world of insanity and upside downness and craziness? What you got? What you got for today? What's
So
happening?
you know what? You know one thing we haven't talked about.
What's that?
We have not talked about Mr. Joe Madison,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Black Eagle.
Yeah. Black Eagle. Yeah.
Black Eagle. I
Drop
listen.
down and get your eagle on. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, I listen to him. I like him.
Yeah. Joe. Yeah. He's a cool guy. Joe Madison, he's a cool
72
guy.
years old and still strong.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a force to be reckoned with. His podcast has always been on point with everything that he has ever said. His information has always been solid.
Yeah.
So what about him? What's going on with him?
So he been on a hunger strike
Now who is
for
that
like
bit?
26 days. Can you
26.
imagine going through Thanksgiving and not eating?
I can't imagine going through nothing without eating.
Yeah.
I just,
He's
I
out
just,
of Ohio. This man born in Ohio, right?
right.
Okay. Had a long career. He got a bachelor's degree in sociology.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Washington University in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But this man, civil rights activist, journalistic person, like he the truth. He the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. He decided to go on a hunger strike because of the voting rights. He said Congress need to they need to pass the voting rights, and he not eating until they do.
Well, something tells me that might be a potential problem
Why?
because um, until they pass voting rights, which are going back into suppression and not having people able to vote for what they believe in is what the United States is actually trying to turn back the clock on. So if he's not going to eat for that reason, it's going to be a long hunger strike.
Well, so he was interviewed on BET,
Mm-hmm.
and they asked him why. So out of his own mouth, here's the quote: "Because what the United States Senate is doing is extreme. This is what it is going to take. I
Right.
think that abstaining from eating solid food sends a signal that somebody out here cares."
I can get that. I can get that. But this is the thing. In the 60s, when Martin Luther King boycotted the bus system, it was a collective effort to shut them down, and it worked. It worked so well that they had to come to the table that to meet with Martin Luther so he could map out plans for Black people and civil rights. I know Joe Eagle to be Mr. Eagle to be a civil rights activist and everything, but my question is, who's on board with him in doing this?
Well, quite actually, probably we all should be.
I mean, I agree with that, but does that mean I gotta? Does that mean I have to? I have to starve myself too, or can I go on a separate type of fast and go without something? Because that's all the
Well,
fast
I
food.
think I think like many of us, we're doing just like the reason why we started this show. We're doing what we think we can do in our way.
Yeah,
And again, this man has a platform for that.
yeah, he does. Yeah.
Nobody went on strike with Gandhi.
No, but Gandhi had his own purpose. But that's a little different. That's what I'm saying. It's a little different because when you talk about striking and trying to put a dent in something and cause major change, it is not just predicated on one person. That's why I use the example about Martin, because those people were fighting for equality as a whole. Now, Mr. Rogan is out here and he's by himself right now, and he's trying to affect change like we all should be in this situation. But in the same token, you need people and numbers matter to make and overturn things in the United States. That has always been the bottom line. Numbers matter regardless of what you're trying to do.
So just like Gandhi, he did it for himself, by himself, but the numbers came when the masses began to have an outcry for this man.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's what's happening. So we talked about the lynching postcards
Yes. Yes.
a couple episodes ago,
Right.
and in this when he talked in this interview, when he talked on BET, he related to the end of Reconstruction
Mm-hmm.
in 1877.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about the actual compromise that was called the Hayes-Tilden Compromise.
Right. I remember that.
He talks about how, white Southerners got so upset at how their political power changed, and that began the whole intimidation era.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the assassinations and all of that of Black people across the country.
Right. Correct. Absolutely.
And then we had, 70 plus years of a mixture of that plus the end of Reconstruction, right?
Correct.
Okay. So he breaks it down. He talks about how Republicans have systematically, and we've talked about that on this show. He talks about how they have systematically gone in to just annihilate voting rights.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they went after the Senate. They went in, then you got, Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the decision in Shelby County versus Holder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It stripped the key provisions of the Voting Rights Act. Okay. Then the next day you had all these states with these voter suppression laws.
Right.
He talks about Donald Trump, how his losing the election was in part, probably mostly because of the power of Black voters in those key states, like Georgia, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Remember, at the end of that election, we kept waiting for those results
to come in. Yes.
To come in. It was long after the election. They were counting and recounting. Okay. And Black voters came out and voted. And then you had 49 states that introduced over 400 voting rights and voter suppression laws, and 19 states enacted voter restriction laws.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's been systematic. We've been saying it out loud.
Yeah, for a while.
So he's not by himself. We've all been saying it. He just decided to take it a step further. You and I took it a step further by this show and bringing awareness to the people in our world.
Right. Absolutely.
So he says at the point that he's making, and this is his quote, he says, we are seeing similar reaction with people in this country who are using voter restriction laws to take away our political power.
Yeah.
And that's what he's trying to speak to.
I can agree with that. I think that in the history of the United States, since they abolished slavery, they've been trying to reenact the clock and take it back to the same thing that they started with. And that's how you bring a country or a people under subjection again. You don't destroy a nation from the outside in, you destroy it from the inside out. And if you look at the demographic of the United States, how it has changed from one thing to another, that's what's happening right now. You have so many people fighting internally that nothing can get accomplished and nothing can be accomplished in that fight, because you're fighting against your own self. And you got to realize there are other nations that's actually looking at that and trying to exploit what you are going through. So when you think about the voting laws and how you are losing ground and losing rights and different things of that nature, I think it's important. You might want to pay attention. And there's a certain thing called the catch-22, where you actually pay so much attention to one thing, but in the background of something else, something more important is being lost. And I highly believe that is happening, and I don't even have to say what's going on the TV and in the media is so prevalent right now. We already know what it is. I ain't even gonna say nothing about it. But on the backside of that, you're losing rights and the ability to vote and to be counted so you can enact change. I told you on another episode of Insane Rhetoric that John D. Rockefeller said one particular quote that struck me just to the core when I read about him. He said, "I do not want a group of thinkers. I just want a group of workers." What has the United States been built on? The backs of people who were just mandated just to work and not be free and to not think. So now the shoe is on the other foot. You got so many thinkers that is prevalent in the United States, and you got to think about it now. They're not the same people in the same generation that you enslaved years ago. So they're pushing back for whatever. So I mean, I commend Joe. I really do commend Joe for doing that, because he has been a stand-up guy every time I have read about him and anything that he has had going on. I commend him. So I hope that he is successful for everybody. I just hope he's really successful for everybody, but everybody also need to do their part.
Well, that's his point that he makes. He's saying that for him, this is a movement in morality as well as politics, right?
Right.
He's saying this is for him.
Right.
And he does say that he doesn't suggest, or, he's not saying that people should join him. He's saying people should do what they can do in their way to join forces with everyone else. He actually says that in that article. But on Twitter, I like one of the pictures he put up was a picture of Marcus Garvey.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus Garvey this is a quote from Marcus Garvey. "You can shackle the hands of men. You can shackle the feet of men. You can imprison the body of men, but you cannot shackle or imprison the minds of men."
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can be locked up and still be free.
You know, people always get Marcus Garvey confused. You know, the biggest thing is, oh, he just wanted all Black people to go back to Africa. Okay, yeah,
Marcus Garvey was way more than that.
but he was way more than that, right? He was much more than that.
Yes, much more. So,
And so he's got another picture here, and he's got on his Twitter page, it says, we could use someone like Adam Clayton Powell today. All those who stood up and stood out and went through hell to get us where we are today. Today would have been his birthday. Rest in power. As he's talking about Adam Clayton Powell.
Okay.
So all of these people did things in their own way. Okay, he's got one of Rosa Parks. On this day in 1955, and this was on December 1st, Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama city bus. You know what happened after that.
Right.
So many people in their singular individual way have committed themselves to change.
Absolutely.
He just decided that, you know, he would do a hunger strike.
Hey, I'm with it. And you know, like, I ain't saying I'm with the hunger for it, but I'm with it to do what I can for the betterment of people. I'm thinking about different people who have moved nations. Personally, I think we need to find the next Shaka Zulu. You want to get something done around here.
Well, you know, we talked about that in one of our episodes. What would happen if Shaka Zulu was president of the United States?
Right. You're like, yeah, hey, now that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
That would be an experience.
Then white people would really be saying, they would really be saying, I fear for my life.
Yeah.
I fear for my life.
Yeah, so okay. Like really, who cares? Shoot, Black people been in fear for their life ever since they've been here. So join the club.
Well, I actually listen, y'all don't say stuff to us on Twitter that's stupid. I'm just gonna tell y'all. So we had a lady on Twitter that responded to something we said, and she said, why would Black people be afraid of their lives? Y'all don't say stuff to us that's stupid on Twitter. Okay, I'm just saying. Don't say stupid stuff.
Yeah, well, you
know, that was stupid.
Apparently, she ain't never read a history book.
Or maybe she's from Texas because we can't read history books.
Or social studies.
Okay, so anyway, Joe Madison he's quoted in saying this regarding his hunger strike. Just as food is essential for the existence of life, voting is essential for the existence of democracy.
I agree. I highly agree.
So it's just that important to him. He said his wife asked him, really, is it that important that you would want to lose your life over this?
Yeah.
And his answer to her was yes.
You know, so now I can quote a passage from the Bible where it talks about Job and how he lost everything to gain what he really thought he needed. And the first thing that pops up in my mind when you said that, his wife said, you should just get rid of yourself and just die. Curse God and die. So you will curse your existence because you don't think it's that important. Now, my question, and this is not a shot at Joe's wife or anything, but my question is, what does she do that has not been beneficial because other people have fought and died for the vote.
Well, you can imagine that you've been married to somebody since 1978 and it's 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And you want them around. You don't want them to, you don't want them to, there's a part of you who is proud of what they do and you want them to be the person they are. But there's gotta be a part of her who's like, why do I have to lose my husband over this?
Okay,
Right?
well, here's my thing for that.
Look at Coretta Scott King.
I was gonna say, look at Malcolm X and his family.
Don't,
I mean,
don't you know that there's a part of them that was like,
don't go.
don't go, baby, baby, please don't go.
Yeah, but the thing is, who is it? If you're not willing to stand up and fight for something, then you're not really ready to die for it either. So it goes hand in hand. Martin was ready to stand up for what he believed in, and he had already solidified in his mind that I would die for it. Martin Luther, the great reformer, is the same way. He had an encounter with God, and he changed his whole life
But do you
around that.
think, but do you think that these people who have become martyrs, do you think that they actually were like, they woke up one morning and was like, I'm gonna die for civil rights today? Like, I think at some point it just kind of, it's not that I'm ready to die. I think it's kind of, I just don't have any choice morally but to put one foot in front of the other for this cause. I don't think it's really a choice of I'm ready to die. I think it's just the choice of, do I stand and let it go by, or do I try to do something about it? And when I weigh the pros and cons, I just can't morally go back to sleep. Morally, I have to go and fight this fight. I don't
Okay.
know that I'm ready to die. I just think I need to go fight this fight.
Say now, from my perspective, is this: there are three things that we need to understand: physically, mentally, and spiritually. Every one of those aspects of that create life can die. If you accept what is going on in your surroundings mentally, if you are being wronged every day and being treated like 1/3 of a man every day and you do nothing, that is a mental death. Spiritually is from the point of view of how you don't operate, but you're trying to come to the impasse of, is this right or is it wrong in what I believe? That's another form of death. And then, of course, you have the physical technicality of death when you physically die, because the first two things you never changed, and you may have thought it was right or wrong. They didn't get up and say, hey, I want to go ahead and just fight this fight. Like we was talking about serial killers, it was a gradual progression. They seen that something needed to change, and in that change, they started to change themselves. And then it actually catapulted them into places where they had to be to make decisions on the masses of other people. And that's when they started to realize that doing this, I might lose my life in it.
Yeah, I know that I'm not a famous person. I'm not, you know, I'm not a Martin Luther King. I'm not, uh, I'm just, I'm just me.
But see,
But
this is the thing.
when I was raising my kids, and I think about what I was willing to do or go through because of them. And I think about how I could be in the worst situation. I could be frightened. I could be all kinds of things, but I could get up and put one foot in front of the other every day because I had these kids.
I, I mean, and that was your plunge to success. The people that are around you know who you are, and you are famous to them. You understand what I'm saying? Because
Right,
when you are affecting change in those people, the world don't have to know you like that.
right,
But the
it,
people that you are within your world knows you that way, you know? So
right. So
it's
that's my point, is that we all can change our little bubble. We can change our little bubble, our little circle, our little world. We can impact it. We can impact our world in small ways. We don't have to impact it on a grand scale. We are not all born to be Joan of Arc.
no, no,
We're not all born to be Muhammad.
yeah,
We're not all born to be Jesus, right?
yeah.
We're not all born to be Hitler, Stalin, Mussolini.
Don't forget Idi Amin. Since you running down those characters.
No, you see what I'm saying? But we are born to be, and I think that's back to Joe Madison's point. He's in his world, he's in his bubble. This affects him
Right,
tremendously.
right,
He's a student of history,
yeah,
especially as it relates to the Black diaspora and
yeah. I mean, I
voting
agree.
and whatever.
I agree. I think greatness comes from who you believe that you are,
Mhm.
not what other people believe that you are.
But it doesn't even come from you even thinking that you're great. It just comes from your walk,
Right.
your
Like
daily
what I'm
walk,
saying to
and
you,
the
if
things that you choose to do.
right, and that's what I'm saying to you. If so a man think it, so is he. So
Hmm.
if you first believe it in your mind that you are something, then you begin to walk what you believe you are.
Hmm.
So that comes from greatness, but it is about the thought process first. If you think that you're nothing, then that's how your walk is going to respond. But if you think that you were something great, then your walk will dictate that.
Right. But sometimes you don't even have to think you're great. You just have to have a certain way you carry yourself internally. You have to have certain morals, certain beliefs, certain, like, you don't you don't
You
have to you don't have to be like,
listen,
you don't have to. Everybody is not Muhammad Ali.
listen,
We
but
listen, we don't have to be like, I'm the greatest and we
no,
believe I'm the greatest. Like,
no.
we just have to just get up.
That's not what I'm saying though. So the point about being the 3 point being holistic is you don't have to say that you're great. You just have to first believe that you're great. You ain't got to open your mouth about saying it because greatness is going to show. That's what I'm saying. So in Malcolm X, he didn't wake up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be the greatest in the Nation of Islam in the next 15, 20 years." He didn't have to say that.
And even when he got there, he didn't say it.
That's my point. It just showed, but he thought it. He believed it.
Well, he believed in his beliefs, is what was
But that's
going
what I'm
on.
saying. So whatever holds you together and whatever causes you to think that way, that's exuding greatness, whether you open your mouth and say you great or not. Muhammad Ali didn't even have to open his mouth and say he was the greatest to show it. It just came out. And that's what he believed. That's all I'm saying. Please don't argue. Don't argue. It's too early to argue.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that people don't know they're great. People,
I mean,
seriously, just think about it. People don't know they're great. They just have something inside of them that says, I believe in this and I just got to go do this. They don't, we know it as greatness. They don't. Some people just don't.
Right. I mean, it's been times when I can say, man, I don't know what is going on in my life. I don't feel like too much of anything. But then when I look back over situations of what I overcame in life, I'm beyond great. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that to be like, oh, he's a arrogant person. No, I understand what my life started as and how it has miraculously changed over the years for me to be in this type of platform when I know how I started. So greatness is what you think greatness is. It's not no particular stamp on greatness saying, okay, like Jay-Z, if you don't get up to the status of Jay-Z, then you're not great. No, that's crazy. You know, if you start off as a drug addict, an alcoholic, and you say, I don't want to do this no more, and you've been in the gutter for the last 10 to 15 years, and you climb out of that and start to overcome and change your life, that's greatness.
You could be a teacher.
Whatever.
You could be all of those things you said. You was drug addict in the gutter, whatever. Climb outside. Okay. You hit your rock bottom. I don't want to do this anymore. You go to school and you become a teacher. And you become a very good teacher, and your kids, really connect with you and learn whatever subject matter you're teaching.
Life experience.
I think people who have great.
I believe people who have tragic life experiences are the best when they come into themselves and understand who they are and what they were designed to do. I think they are the best teachers because they had to struggle. When you have something that has been handed to somebody, they don't appreciate it like you would if you had to work for it. That's just statistics shows that. You know, if I give you a car, you might be appreciative of it, but because I gave it to you, you wouldn't take care of it like you would if you had to work for it.
Yeah. So, all right, Joe Madison, keep up the good work.
Keep it up, Joe Madison, Mr. Black Eagle. Keep it flying.
Keep it going. Keep it going as long as you can. We support you. We got you. We working in our way too. We trying to get people to understand about this voter suppression. So we got you.
Yeah, we on the team. We on the team.
And we're praying for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what else we got, sister? What else is going on?
Okay, what I want to know about, listen.
Oh my goodness. This sounds like some tomfoolery right here. This sounds like it's gonna be off the meter.
Why is man over there in Florida killing people? He done stalked the girl and killed her.
If it ain't Texas, it's Florida. I'm sorry. I know that's your city. But I'm like, all the stuff.
Texas, I mean,
Texas. Listen, it must be a South thing because that's right down there. You just take I-10 and you just roll on south.
I'm just
take on 10 on down through there and just, you right there. I mean,
but listen,
So first of all, okay, so like, please don't get offended. I don't know what to call y'all right now, the LGBTQ community, but I'm trying to find out the picture that I saw. I'm trying to figure out what it was.
The man killed a
Yeah,
woman.
the man looked like a chick. I'm just saying.
The-
I'm like, I'm trying to figure out who or what it was. I'm like, I couldn't put
Listen,
that
he
together.
20 years old, she 29. They
Oh,
work at a bar.
oh, okay. Yeah, I read that for it. I read that for it and
Well,
everything.
no, she 29, he 20. They work at a bar.
Mm.
Oh,
So he's just gonna go in and ask her for a date. She shoots him down. His feelings are hurt, and now he goes to the house and stabs her, and then takes off his shirt and then stabs himself.
but he didn't kill himself.
Well, apparently he didn't do a good job. He didn't
He
want to
didn't
die
kill
no way.
himself.
He
I
didn't
guess
want
it
to
was
die
supposed
no
to be
way.
Romeo and Juliet, like some stuff like that.
Man, listen here. We go with this
He didn't
Bonnie
kill
and Clyde
himself.
stuff
He
again.
did not kill himself.
But this is the problem. Why not? Well, I mean, what was the problem? Hey, man, see, this is the thing
He
I
had
don't like.
multiple stabs in the chest, but if he was really trying to kill himself, why didn't he just go right for the heart or the jugular, something like that?
Well, actually, with a knife to actually break that chest plate, I don't think you have enough thrust to go out and in to break that chest plate to get to the heart. What he should have done was ran that knife across his neck on the left side, which is the main jugular vein, or he should have slit his wrist and just sat there. And when you slit your wrist, it won't take long for you to bleed out. It won't take long at all.
Well,
So
they had
apparently he
witnesses
didn't
and
do
stuff.
the good preparation and understanding how to get rid of yourself. He should have looked
He
up some
wasn't, I don't
people.
know if he was, see, here we go again with that I'm ready to die stuff. I don't know if he was really ready to die.
And that's what I'm saying. But see, this is why it's insane rhetoric, because the stuff that people do is so insane. I had friends that actually committed suicide. I mean, so that ain't nothing that I really care to be around and play with. When people say they ready to die, and then you over here playing, talking about you can cut your wrist 500 times and you ain't dead yet. That's because you ain't really ready to go. And that type of tomfoolery, I don't have time for. Get away from me with that. You know what I'm saying? Because if a person is really ready to get rid of themselves, they'll do it. They'll do it. And they don't need no note, and they don't need to voice their opinion about it.
I, so she was being nice. Listen, her friends at the bar say she was being nice every time he would try to, come on to her or whatever. She was being nice to put him off because she was afraid that he might get violent. So she was being a nice person. He continued to see that being nice as he had a chance. But then he waited for her. He went to her house and waited for her. Then when she got home, he tried one more time and she said no, and he turned violent. And so it didn't work, her being nice. She should have
Yeah,
started from the beginning.
I mean,
Bitch,
shoot.
leave me alone. I told you I don't like you.
Look, look. Black people do that wonderfully. Like,
Yeah, because
they would
you see
tell
how
you,
quickly I did that? Did you see how quick
hey,
I I went into that?
don't.
I went quickly into that, didn't I?
Yeah, like, don't do that. Because you gonna piss somebody off. Like I say, like, you can't be nice with everybody. It's good to be nice, but some people need a stern hand, and then you gotta watch them from that. And then when somebody is approaching you like that, I mean, that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But see, that's what I was saying in another episode, that it is hard for white people, sorry, white people, but then again, I'm not, to take rejection on any level. If that would have been anybody else, they would have been like, you ain't all that anyway, and gone on to the next one.
I'm just gonna go back to it's something in the food because we got 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds, 25-year-olds is something that was in the water when we were raising these children who are this age now. Like it's something in the water, some kind of insecticide was sprayed on the plants. It was like it was some kind of subliminal messaging in the schools. It was something.
Maybe the government sprinkled cocaine on all the food to get this type.
I don't know. Parents, you cannot smoke and drink and do drugs when you're pregnant. I'm just saying.
Listen, like that's just crazy. Like, man, you know how many times, like growing up, that I was rejected? That didn't hurt my feelings. That just made me better at what I needed to do to make sure that the rejection gets lessened as I got older.
Well, see, that's the thing. See that so you hit a good point, because like I was just talking about this to somebody yesterday about, and I've talked about it on Insane Rhetoric in season 1. We can't say girl, boy. We can't say he, she. You can't say little Johnny, go sit down. Little Johnny, go over there and sit down. You can't say that. There are certain ways we have to talk to the children now. There's no winning or losing. Children have to all be accepted, right? So it starts in preschool. It's Valentine's Day. You can't just give a Valentine to the people you want to give a Valentine to. You got to bring a Valentine for everybody in the class.
Wrong. Like, I'm going to give whatever I want to give to a person that has been significant in my life, regardless of what the school system says and what people say.
So
and if you don't tell me when I meet you that you identify as something else other than what you started as, don't come to me and talk about, oh, I need to bring you up on charges. No, because you didn't tell me in advance on what you want me to call you. I'm just not going to assume anything. When I see a man walk up to me, I'm going to know that this is a man coming up to me unless he says something otherwise. And it is so funny how the school system wants to validate that everybody needs to be on an equal playing field. But soon as you get out of school, it's a competition. It's a competition while you in school. And there are losers and there are freaking winners. If you're better than me at math, that means that I need to work that much harder. If I'm better than you at spelling, that means that you need to work that much harder. Do you think I'm finna depreciate in value because this person can't spell cat? And you think that I'm going level the playing field because you can't spell cat? Hell no. This is a competition. And I'm gonna let you know it's a competition, man. I'm here to win.
Okay, so first things first. My parents were not about to go buy a whole bunch of Valentines for me to take to school to get others. You don't need to do that at school. You don't need to do that at school. That's number one. So I didn't give Valentines and I did not receive them. Okay, that's that. Okay, my friends received them. They did that. I didn't do that. My parents were not going to go buy that for me. That's number one. Number two, you have people like, what's his name, the basketball player, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union.
Mm-hmm.
They have a child who is identifying as the opposite sex, and
Okay.
they are allowing this child to express themselves in that manner. And so they're part of this bandwagon where we don't need to put children in a box of girl or boy
Yeah, I mean,
because
that's
it makes them uncomfortable when they don't identify as that and you're calling them whatever that is.
my thing is that's fine and dandy, but don't tell me what I gotta do. That's my whole point. Don't tell me what I have to do. If that's what you want to be identified as, that's fine. But don't tell me I have to agree with what you say, because I don't. Now, if you don't want to talk to me because of that, that's fine too.
I'm just trying to figure out how you 5 or 6 and you already know you identify as the other,
Man, look.
as the others. I haven't gotten there yet. I want to be there and understand how you're 4 or 5 and you already are able to articulate to your parents that you want a surgery to change yourself to a different sex.
Listen, I don't know, but I read a lot of science books and medical books, and I can actually tell you this: I ain't never seen a chromosome that was unfor. Now,
I don't know how we got on this. We was talking about the boy stalking in Florida, y'all. Y'all know we get off
because we
subject.
were just talking about the way that the guy looks. So I mean, I
We
like
get
I
off
told you,
subject, y'all.
I was trying to figure
If
out
you are a
what it
regular
was.
listener in Say Rhetoric, you
I
know
was just
that
trying to
we get
figure out
off
what
the
it was.
subject.
All right, so back to the subject. He killing folks because he didn't get his way with being accepted from the woman.
That's how we got it, because he feels that he needed to be accepted. That you have to accept me.
See,
And
and
that
that's
stems from the subject we got all off on the other subject, but it stems from that at the beginning when you're raising your kids and you don't teach them that some people lose and some people win.
that's competition in life. If you finna
Everyone
tell
doesn't have to like you,
like
and you have to
like
figure out how to get along with them in a positive way.
that's a false sense of hope. You finna send these kids out into the world thinking that everything is even Steven across the board.
Well, that's I think listen, y'all. I really think this is part of the problem with our children. I really think this has got quite a bit to do with why our children are going down this slippery slope. Is because we are so politically correct and we are so about feelings. We're so about feelings.
Yeah, man. I listen to me. I grew up in a house that if you got out of line, they gave you a whooping. If you jumped into a grown person's conversation, you might be picking yourself up off the floor. I grew up in that era. Uh, if they tell you once, they ain't gonna tell you twice. That's where
We
I
can't
grew
do
up.
that. We can't do these things nowadays. I'm just
Listen
telling you,
and
this is
listen
incorrect.
and
It's
that's
improper. We
why
don't do
and
these
that's
things
why
anymore.
the reason, like I say, everybody say you can't do this, but listen, the reason that's why you have what you have right now and kids running amok in schools, in life, in their parents' house, and talking back to their parents. And then when little Johnny Rockefeller or whoever tells you something and you don't like it, he goes off and get his carbine and comes back and murders you because you didn't check them and put them in their place. Now, like I said, this is our show. We can say what we want to say. So,
They also, okay, so you also should not be buying your 15-year-old a 9mm
S&P,
Sig
Sawyer,
Sawyer SP 2022.
22 from Acme.
From Acme Sporting Goods
Sporting Goods.
in Michigan.
In Michigan.
Okay, that should not be a Christmas gift from the Black Friday sale.
I mean, well,
and you should not go on social media
drawing pictures in school
of
bullets and guns.
I'm just listen, people.
And then having your mama tell you shouldn't have got caught.
Okay, people, I'm just saying, here's another symptom of the problem. We've gone from Michigan to Florida now. We were in, what was that? Where were we? Was it Wisconsin?
Wisconsin? Kenosha.
Okay. He was defending himself.
Walking behind the police, and the police didn't have nothing to say to him.
Then we had
an assault rifle, and he comes up and said he feared for his life. I don't see how that's possible.
Then we were in Texas, in Lubbock, with a carbine, not an AR.
Yeah, carbine, not an AR-15. When the man Kyle. Yeah, I don't have the southern.
I'm from Texas. I can say it like they said it in the video.
When the man Kyle shoots Mr. Reed on the porch, and it's self-defense.
Yeah. All because the man called Voldemort led the way of we can make America great again by behaving badly.
Yeah, I mean,
that was the mantra.
Yeah, I mean, when you have
we're angry and we want to go back to these antics of intimidation and horror and violence to get our way.
See, once again, if y'all would have left Black people alone where they were, this would be non-existent.
So you got a man in Florida who felt like he needed to get his way and have his way with a woman, and she needed to date him because he wanted her, even if she said no. You know, when we were children, they had a song, means no, no means no, no means no, means no, means no.
Who wrote that song? Hey, listen, I can't say nothing else about this situation. It's like with this guy, I think that the loss of that young lady's life is so sad because she tried to do everything that she could in a nice, positive way to push this person off and show that she was not interested. But because you thought that you were so entitled and you supposed to have your way and the playing field is leveled and everybody wins, now you have a young lady that is no longer here or have life because you thought that you're supposed to get your way regardless of what somebody else says.
And she actually had the aspiration. She worked in a bar, but she actually had aspirations to become a designer. She was going to design school.
See? She probably could have took over the world and beat out Versace.
We've seen it time and time again. Remember, like Bad Christmas, when we talked that episode we did called Bad Christmas.
Yeah.
The lady wanted to be a domestic grief counselor.
Because she was being beaten.
Because she was being abused and she was going to school and she was about to graduate, actually.
Yep.
And her husband quite actually beat her to death.
Couldn't make it because of somebody idiocracy.
And then sat her in front of the Christmas tree.
Yeah. I remember that episode.
So people, means no, no means no. means no, means no, means no, means no. Okay. And people, please stop. Let's find another way to teach our children inclusiveness without treading on everyone has to win all the time. Everyone does not always win.
That ain't life. And if you think that's life, you got a problem. You got a serious problem because you're going to have a whole lot of disappointing nights.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a talent like Colin Kaepernick and you out there, you want him to be like throwing that ball and like, getting them touchdowns in.
Right? Why you say Colin Kaepernick when you got on a Texas jersey? You don't know the quarterback from Texas. You don't know the quarterback from Texas.
I don't care who he is, because this is not my favorite team.
We know who your favorite team is that is no longer in existence. So please don't bring them up.
This is the only Texas football shirt I can get unless I want to pay billions of dollars.
Well,
I can no longer really get an authentic Houston Oilers shirt anymore. So I'm on here. I'm repping Texas.
Listen
I'm sorry.
So look,
no harm, no foul, Houston Texans. I'm just not a fan.
She said that she wants to represent the Houston Oilers. Now, either you're old enough to know who the Houston Oilers is, or you're an avid football fan who researched who they were. But
I'm going to tell you, I'm old enough to know
who they are. How long
I'm old enough to have gone to a game when Earl Campbell was playing.
See, listen, Earl Campbell. Y'all don't understand. Okay, got it. Okay, y'all don't understand.
This was before he started making sausage.
Whoa, shoot, that's crazy, man. So
I gotta rep my state, even though they crazy in Texas. But I rep my state, I rep my city, Houston, Texas. No harm, no foul. I'm just not a fan of your football team. Sorry.
Can you name one player that came from that team? Just one.
JJ Watt.
I knew you was gonna say that.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's okay. All right, you ain't not in. You know something about them people. All right, okay, so what else we got? What else we got? That's it.
Y'all, let's get out of here.
All right.
Oh,
that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I just miss my Houston Oilers.
Oh my God, here we go.
They're not coming back.
Oh my God.
The Texans don't even have a song. The Texans don't have a song. The Houston Oilers had a song and everything.
Well, you write one for the Texans.
I might have to do that because
write one for the
Texans don't have a song.
Yeah, write one for the Texans. Like,
Houston Oilers had a song.
Tell Commissioner Roger
Oilers. Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers #1.
Yeah. How many football Super Bowls did they win?
Okay. But we knocked on the door. We banged on the door.
I don't think
we didn't get a chance to kick the door in the next year because they went to Tennessee.
I don't think you can be #1 if you ain't won.
We even had beautiful colors, Columbia blue.
I remember the Houston Oilers, which is crazy. I remember that. I was super young, but yeah, I remember them. I remember watching them. They had what is it on the side of their helmet? An all refinery.
All Derek.
Yep, there on the side of the helmet. So I remember.
It was all Derek. We had Warren Moon.
I know who you had. I know who was actually one of the first Black quarterbacks in the league.
Just saying, progressive.
And he was good. You had during that time, This is off the subject, but during that time you had Warren Moon and you had Randall Cunningham that was in the league that was doing things. Those were the two black quarterbacks at that time that was starting to make names. And
Warren Moon was cutting up.
Oh yeah, he was definitely slinging the ball. He was definitely slinging the ball.
I'm just saying. Houston Oilers.
Yeah. Okay. You had Warren Moon. That's the number one. Okay, I got you.
We had Warren Moon. We had Earl Campbell. Yeah. Okay.
Hey. So what's up? Take us out of here.
All right, y'all. You all can see us now. We told y'all we had a big surprise for y'all this season. So y'all gonna see us live more this season. Season 2 coming at you at Insane Rhetoric. But so now you can see us on YouTube, but you can listen to us on many platforms, especially Spotify, Anchor, Amazon, Apple Podcast, lots more. And if you have an app called Owl Tales, the bird with a tail, Owl Tales, you can listen to us on there too. Visit us on Insane Rhetoric, and rhetoric is spelled with a K.
With a K.
.com, insanerhetoric.com. Go to our Real Talk page. Tell us what you think, what you're thinking, what you know, what you want to know on the Real Talk page. But we have one rule. If you go to our Real Talk page and start talking tomfoolery like you're getting ready to blow up the world, like you Pinky in the brain or somebody, I am a tattletale and I am going to report you to the authorities. Because we're not for the tomfoolery here. We are not for the bad business here. We are for the positive here.
Absolutely.
We're for promoting America in a positive way. We are for promoting our community in a positive way. So if you come up here with some tomfoolery on our Real Talk page, we're going to report you.
No, okay? No, let's get that correct.
I'm going to report you.
I'm not going to say a thing. I'm just going to sit back and laugh while you go to jail. That's all I'm going to do.
Okay, I'm not going to say a thing. Just going to let you know, don't be doing that Pinky in the brain mess on Real Talk page. Okay. And as always, just remember to enjoy the ride. That is Insane Rhetoric. We are out of here. We will see y'all next time on Insane Rhetoric.
See ya.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.